Hello and welcome to Wrestling with Real Estate, where we look to chokeslam all your real estate problems. I'm your host, former WWE wrestler and now Cirque du Soleil performer, and of course, multifamily real estate investor, Barri Griffiths. Now, today we're joined by Kevin Brenner. Hey, Kevin, how you doing, man?
Hey, Barry, thanks for having me, man. Don't choke slam me, please.
We only choke real estate. Real estate is the only choke slammable thing here. So you're safe.
Good.
Well, cool. Hey, thanks for being on the show, man. Thanks for being here. I'm excited to talk to you today. But before we kind of dive into the conversation, you give us an intro into who you are, what you've been up to?
Yeah, absolutely, Barry. So my name's Kevin Brenner. I am a founder and CEO of Nimbus Capital, and we're a micro private equity firm. And we're going to talk about all that stuff, what we do a little bit later in the show. But really, I got my start into real estate investing as an active duty service member. So technically, as this recording, I have about 2 months left on active duty before I leave the service and pursue, have my passive income kind of pay for my salary and pursue real estate full time. And so I got my start really utilizing my VA loan, that zero down, 100% loan to value loan, and bought a quadplex in Savannah, Georgia. And I was able to, I didn't even have to live in it because I got orders to Washington, D.C. from Savannah, and I left everyone in there and I rehabbed everything, and it cash flows like a machine. And then I started buying up more quadplexes and more investments and getting into Airbnbs and doing all this stuff and learning really about how powerful real estate was. At the same time, got connected with my friends at Active Duty Passive Income here. And what I do with them is I'm the director of single family education. So I coach over 200 students in regular weekly coaching events, and they're all 1 to 4 unit military or veteran real estate investors connected to the service. And really we help them get cash flowing investment properties, the same land and property and country that they fought for. They now get some ownership of that, and that's really important as we grow our community. And it's been a really fantastic opportunity because it allows me to host the Active Duty Passive Income podcast and also just meet some really great people like you.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, first and foremost, I'm sure many people, including myself, want to thank you for your service. So thank you so much for that. And then also,
cheers, thank you.
Thank you for what you do for all this other servicemen, because I think it's a much needed thing, right? Because unfortunately, a lot of people when they leave the military, they might be lost or wondering, where do they go from life? Where do they do from, what I mean? You hear a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of veterans that end up homeless or in tough situations. And the more something like this, like real estate, is such a fantastic investment vehicle. It's such a wealth builder, such a thing that someone can pour into and create a lifestyle around that.
Yeah. It's the mission. Yeah, it's the mission, Barry, that because that's what you have in the military. And if you have veterans or service member, active duty service men and women listening right now, they get it. You get your mission. You get to your platoon. You get to your squad. You get to your flight. You get to your whatever the Navy calls it. And you get to the ship, and they tell you, boom, here's the mission. And you're always doing something that's you're fighting for something that's bigger than yourself, right? You're fighting for the mission. But when you leave, if you don't line yourself up properly, you can be left missionless. And that is exactly what you're talking about. But real estate, if you learn about it, you can make it, you can customize it, you can mold it, and you can shape it. And that can be your mission. And it's so incredible how profitable it could be. Not only are you chasing you're in a lucrative career field, so you're motivated on that front, but it's easy to grow. People love helping other real estate investors, love helping other real estate investors. There's a ton of it to go around, and it's just, it's a lot of fun. And I think it's a great fit for anyone who might be facing a military transition.
Yeah. And I've also found that it seems like, and maybe it's just, I have a bias because I speak to successful real estate investors, but a lot of people from the military background, they have a great tool set to go into real estate. I think because they have self-discipline, a lot, most of the time, I don't mean to generalize, but it seems to self-discipline, they have drive, they know what, you tell them what to do, they can do it, they can work hard, all that stuff that is so transferable. I think it's such a great toolkit that people can use for real estate that transfers over from the military. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And all of those skills, no matter what you are, whether you were, in charge of artillery and doing that stuff on the ground, or you were a pilot in the Air Force, or, whatever, you get out, you might not be a pilot. You might not be, well, you certainly won't be launching artillery, in the civilian sector. The point is, you have those soft skills that so many companies and corporate America desires, but entrepreneurs also need that. Mm-hmm. And there's a fabulous program out there. If you're a service member and you're transitioning, look it up. It's called DoD Skill Bridge, SKILL Bridge, BRIDGE. And other services call it different things, but it's a DoD-wide program, and it allows you to intern wherever you want for up to 6 months prior to getting out. You're still getting your military paycheck. As long as your commander approves it, you can get up to 6 months of pretty much a paid internship where you learn something awesome, like real estate. Like you could go and work for a multifamily company in their acquisitions department and learn so much in 6 months while still getting the security of your military paycheck. They can't pay you, but they have to at least offer you or give you an interview at the end of the gig. They don't have to hire you at the end, but they have to at least give you an interview. And most people I know will do the program and work with some multifamily folks or work with whoever, an investment firm, a private equity firm, and they will learn so much. And then they go and boom, walk into a job that usually pays quite well.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That sounds like an amazing program. So that's very cool. Out of interest, so you're working with these servicemen and you trying to teach them about educate them about the single family, the 1 to 4 mm-hmm. units. What kind of stuff do you teach them? Just on a high level, we can't go into everything you teach them.
Yeah, of course.
But just to give people an idea, and someone who might be in a similar position, just starting out, they might not have been in the military necessarily, but they're just starting out. What kind of stuff do you work on to start off with people?
Yeah. So it starts, we have a full, online course, and it's got a bunch of modules, and you can go and take it on your own pace and all of that stuff. But really the course walks you through the mindset, and then getting excited about real estate, why we love real estate, why everyone should love real estate, and kind of, flipping that switch in your head to start seeing opportunities. So I tell my students all the time, I say, hey, listen, because they come to me and they say, I can't find any deals in this market. The market's too hot. I can't find any deals. I tell them, no, the deals are all around you. You just have to learn how to open your eyes. And by learning how to open your eyes, I mean, you have to learn about each and every strategy generally, and then hone in on one, whether that's wholesaling, whether that's, we're talking about 1 to 4 units, whether that's buy and hold, whether that's a BRRRR strategy, whether that's an Airbnb strategy, whatever your flavor of real estate, learn about each one. Like kind of like if you were in college, you had to take like your gen ed credits, learn about each one, and then pick one, dive into it, take action, learn, network, take action, become an expert in it. And once you have done it and you're doing well, then if you want to, spread your wings and go to another one, do that. But be really focused and really intentional about it. And we show you these strategies. And then, we have a weekly coaching program where you're able to bounce ideas off of us and talk to us. And we'll show you some interesting strategies on how to get started with a house hacking strategy. But it's all really quite topical. And we have a lot of folks in there who actually aren't in the military anymore or have never been in the military, but they get a ton of value out of the program. And that's what it's at the end of the day, it's about helping people understand how to find a deal, how to analyze a deal so they don't get into trouble. They don't, you say, what do they say, Barry? You never make money when you sell a deal, you make it when you buy, right? So like learning how to analyze a deal and what actually is a deal and not just what some agent puts in front of your face, like learning how to do this and get it set up and build passive income that you can pass down to your future generations.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm glad you guys are out there doing that and helping people with that, because I think it's so important, right? And it's just like real estate isn't complicated. It's hard, but it's not easy, right? It's like you've got to do the work, you've got to do the analysis, but if you do so, everyone can do it, right? I think that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm doing a terrible job of it, but everyone can do it. It's just you've got to put in the work, you've got to be willing to work hard at it, and I think that's the cool thing about it. And I think programs like yours are phenomenal because it helps teach people that they can do it and make them believe it and then show them how to do it. And I think that's so cool. So thank you guys for doing that. But back to you and what you're doing. What is your core focus in terms of your own investments now? Where is your real estate investing gone since you're doing single families and small multis and short-term rentals?
Yeah. So the common thread between my portfolio and where I was and my kind of my trajectory, I knew I wanted bigger. Like I understood economies of scale. I understood, hey, 4 units is great. What if I had 400? Like I got that, but I had a problem of getting from A to B. And I think a lot of people face that problem. But the main thing I realized I didn't like doing was I didn't really like asset management. And that's what I was for my own portfolio. I was an asset manager. I was managing the rehabs, managing the property managers, doing that stuff, which you should do, right? That's part of it. But I didn't really find joy in that. So I went back to the drawing board and I kind of stewed on this idea for a while. How can I create something where I'm able to raise capital, but then invest passively into other people's deals? And at the time, I didn't think it was possible. Well, I went down the whole syndication path. Let's go look at some mobile home parks. We're going to syndicate all this money. We're going to do all this stuff. But it left me with the same problem. I'm still the asset manager. I still don't want to do that. So, I was just learning and mind feeding and learning as much as I could about the space. And finally, a mentor of mine said, "Why don't you just start a fund?" And I was like, "What's that?" And I was like, what is a fund? And of course that started me down a massive rabbit hole. 6 months of education, $10,000 later, where I invested in myself to buy a course to learn all about this stuff, because for your listeners out there, you got to invest in yourself, whatever it is. If you want to do something, don't drag your knuckles for a year or 2 years. Go to someone who's done it before, pay them. They'll show you how to do it, and you'll save yourself years and years of stress and gray hairs and balding, or whatever the euphemism that you want to use. But I got to this point where I was like, okay, I'm going to build this team. I'm going to build this fund and this private equity firm. And, about a year and a half later, Nimbus Capital was born, and we have a really, really interesting and excellent value proposition to a very niche, select group of passive investors out there. And it's working out really well.
Very interesting. And the good thing is, when anyone's wondering what is a fund, the funds, the second part of this interview, we're going to focus and do a deep dive on fund of funds and really cover all into that. But maybe you want to give as a lead into that, do you want to give us a high level explanation of what is a fund and a fund of funds essentially?
Yeah. So a fund is really, Barry, it's an SPV, or special purpose vehicle. And that's the technical term for it, right? And there's a lot of ways you can organize money. But if you think about it, and if people are watching this right now, you have an aggregate, right? You have this pot of money. Like, if you're playing poker or something, everyone all the investors put all their money in the center of the table. That's the pot, right? And what the fund of funds concept is, or if that's the fund, right? What the fund of funds concept is that fund then goes and through a fund management system, AKA the general partners of the fund, AKA me and my partners, we go and find and vet and independently underwrite and choose the deals. As fund managers, we decide where that capital goes, and we offer a return on that, on that capital for our investors. The key difference is that we're investing passively into our partners' deals through a co-investment strategy. So what that allows us to do, without getting too much into the weeds, where our model is different, is because we're passive into those deals, we're able to, we don't have to be the asset managers. Our assets that we're managing are our investors. So you're getting a ton of communication, you're getting a ton of knowledge, you're getting a ton of, you're learning how to do everything, and you're seeing where your money is going. And you're not getting, you're not waiting 3-4 days for an email response because we're putting out some, fire, in the laundry room at one of the 300 unit. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're not doing that. We have operators that do that, and we stay and represent the investors. And it's a really powerful thing. And I truly think it's the future of the syndication model.
I would agree. It seems like more and more people are going this route, and hearing of it, more and more people using this and going the fund route rather than the traditional syndication route. So I think it's cool that you guys are going that way. And part of having a fund is raising capital, right? It's bringing investors, passive investors on board. How are you guys? Are you part of that, or are you more in charge of what role do you play, and how are you guys finding investors and bringing them on board?
Yeah. So no, that's a great question, Barry. And yeah, I am the lead investor relations, founder, CEO, lead investor relations guy. That's what I do on the capital raising. And what we've done is we've created this first fund. It's called Stratus Fund One, and it's part of Nimbus Capital. And this fund is directed towards real estate professionals. So what we're doing is we're focusing on our high net worth real estate agents. We're focusing on brokers. We're focusing on lenders, people who are making a commissionable salary, who might have a couple other real estate investments, but don't have any multifamily exposure. They're still actively investing. And what we do, and we have a ton of these clients, because in the last 3 years, I don't know if you've noticed that the market's been on fire, the single family market, right? Yeah. So there's a ton of these investors out there, and I speak on webinars, and I speak around the country, and I speak at realtor association, state level, and all this stuff. And I teach them a strategy on how you can invest passively and save up to $22,000, maybe even $30,000 in the first year on your taxes. Because if you qualify as a real estate professional within the eyes of the IRS, and make sure you talk to your CPA. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're listening, call your CPA and ask them, am I a real estate professional? Step one. Step two, if they say yes, great. If they say no, ask them a bunch of questions about it. They'll tell you about it. But if they're a real estate professional, that means that they could take the passive deductions, like your, bonus, depreciation from cost segregation, all of that they have pro rata shares in through the fund, because we do 100% pass through to the investors. They can take all of that and reduce their commissionable income or their other ordinary income. And that most times brings them into a lower tax bracket, which is taxed at a marginal rate, which brings them and could save them an insane amount of money in the first year of investing, not to mention continual savings throughout. So the tax strategy is a great play for those folks who are in a sales position where they're accredited and they're also making a lot of money. And then, oh, by the way, they're still, creating multiple streams of independent passive income through each one of these syndications. So it's a win-win-win strategy. And we've really kind of honed in on that niche, and we're finding a lot of success because, we're well equipped to speak their language. And I think that's something that's been missing. No one really tells real estate agents how to build passive wealth, because all the brokers they want them to sell more houses. They don't want them to be getting passive wealth and quitting their jobs, So the system's a little stacked against them, but I'm here to change that.
Wow, what a great strategy, and what a great investor avatar to go after. That I've not heard of people, and especially the way that you guys have put it. I never would have thought about that. But like you said, if you qualify as a real estate professional, people should look that up and the designation with that, and like you said, talk to their CPA. But if you qualify as a real estate professional, you have massive tax write-offs or benefits or whatever you want to call it, right? It can mean a huge amount of losses that you can show against your taxes that can then be used to save a lot of money. Taxes is our biggest bill that I think everyone of us, face, right? And if you can really lower that as well, and the beautiful thing is you're still investing in real estate passively. You still can focus on your job and still create whatever you're doing, that 200,000 plus you're making every year. Focus on that job, still be good at it, but creating another form of income. You're getting, appreciation, you're getting debt pay down, you're getting cash flow, right? You're getting the tax benefits as well. It's just, man, it's amazing. It's such a win-win that it's hard to see that agents wouldn't want to do it, right? But I guess sometimes agents
I think there's an education gap there too. So they just don't, it's like, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just, you don't know what you don't know. So if you can, intercept someone, and this goes for any investor avatar, if you're raising capital, I think you have to be laser focused on who you're raising capital from. And you can tell that, I'm laser focused on but I've built entire presentations, webinars. And once you're laser focused on that person, that ideal client who wants to invest in your fund, then you go and find where they are. So you'll hear me on a ton of different podcasts that, guess who listens to them? Real estate agents, either investors are listening to them, or real estate agents are listening to them, and they're learning. Or, I'm targeting real estate associations where I can educate them. I'm targeting individual brokerages, but the crazy part is some of these realtors and brokers are paying $30,000-$40,000 a quarter in taxes, a quarter. And the attitude is like, well, I'm just blessed that I'm able to make this much money to give this much to the government. And I have to stop them. Like, no. Like, you guys are thinking about this way wrong. And it's just out of sight, out of mind, because they're salespeople, and they're focused on the next sale, the next contract, the next transaction. And, my mission is to have them take a step back and look at what the future is going to be like for them and their families when the sales stop coming in.
That's very cool. That's so cool, actually, to be honest. So yeah, I love that you're doing that, and it's such a great, if you can find your investor avatar and really niche down on what that is, right? Like you're saying, it's so much easier to have a message, to know where you're going to find them, where to look for them, to bring, it just makes everything easier. So anyway, I think that's a great piece of advice is essentially what you're saying is find your avatar, and if anyone looking to raise capital, find the avatar, really niche down on what that is, and then go find where that person is, right? And it makes your life a lot easier than trying to, be in all these different areas and trying to speak to everyone, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I'm excited to dive into the second part of the show, the fund of funds. We're going to talk a lot about that and really dive into that, how that works. But switching gears a little bit, as this show is called Wrestling with Real Estate, I like to incorporate some wrestling related real estate questions. And the first question is, what would your wrestling name be?
Oh, I prepared for this. Much contemplation went into this name, and okay. I'm sure there's going to be much judgment. So in the Air Force, I'm a meteorologist. I went to school for that. I have a marine and atmospheric science degree from the University of Miami. Go Canes. So I was thinking maybe like the Weatherman or the Rainmaker. Okay. I think I'm going to go with the Rainmaker.
I like the Rainmaker. I like that one. That's got a good ring to it. And ain't no judgment here whatsoever. So this is a judgment-free zone. So okay. You can come up with whatever name you want. There's no judgment here. That's all. So the Rainmaker. I like that. I like that a lot. So every wrestler has a special move. What is your special move in real estate?
So, I don't know what it would be called, my special move in real estate, but I think it's my ability to bring people to an opportunity and help them see that. And I wrote down in my little notepad here, it's like, this is super lame. I'm gonna rain capital for the deals or for my investors, and the returns are gonna rain down upon them.
Yeah, you gotta make it rain. I like that.
I gotta make it cool. I like it. I'm failing right now.
No, this is awesome. I love how you're tying it all in together. So what's been the biggest body slam you've taken in your real estate career?
Yeah, so when I first got started on that first quadplex, man, I got screwed so hard. I paid like this dude like $10,000, this contractor. And for people who aren't watching, it's air quotes there, heavy air quotes. Long story short, this guy did like a third of the work and ran off with my $10,000 because I was stupid and paid it all up in front. Like you just get like, yeah. So, it was a learning lesson for me, and I learned, and, is what it is. The property is made, way more than that since then. So it's okay. But yeah, that one stung a little bit.
Yeah. And we've got to learn the hard lessons sometimes, right? I know I do a lot of times. You got to learn the hard lessons, but you as long as you learn, that's the main thing. So was there a moment that you were standing on the top rope, getting ready to jump, but you were too scared? What was it, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, there's been a lot of moments where I was scared, where, putting that first offer in, my first ever offer on a real estate, like an investment, any property. Yeah. I thought that was like the biggest deal. Like I was like cheersing with my friends. I was like, yeah, put an offer in. And then now I put like 10 offers in a day. And it's like, no, it's like not a big deal. But like, I think that, the commitment, I was never, I don't think, scared. I think it was just I let fear drive some decisions early on. And that's really how I learned to raise capital, because I for one of the deals, I had the deal under contract and I had no way of making any money, and or no way of getting the money because I didn't have the money. Like I put it under contract and I was like, I don't have any money, and I had to raise $85,000 in 2 weeks. I had no clue how to do that, so I just hit the phones, and I kept getting rejected. And finally, my old college roommate was like, "Yeah, I just got $100,000 bonus. Yeah, I'll do that," and it was done, and that was it. But like, I was terrified of even like progressing because I thought I didn't deserve this deal. But that fear, kind of like that fear of like screwing up, motivated me to like, I'm not going to lose this deal. And it was just that like kick in the butt that I needed to get focused.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Then sometimes you need that, right? It's just that, I don't know, something pushing you forward, something driving you, like you said, that kick in the butt, right? To go ahead. Very cool, man. Well, hey, man, great interview. Thank you so much for doing this. And like you said, there's going to be a second part, so everyone should stay tuned for that and be excited. Well, that's going to be, I'm excited to dive into that. But before we go, if people want to reach out to you, people want to find out more about what you guys have got going on, how can they do so?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Barry, we have a live opportunity right now. So that we're recording this on June 28th. The opportunity we have is going out Stratus Fund 1 till the end of the summer. And if people are interested in learning more about it, all you got to do is go to our website, www.risewithnimbus, risewithnimbus.com, or shoot me an email at kevin@risewithnimbus.com.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, cool, man. Thank you so much. Excited about part number 2.